Shalom and good morning. Today we are reading 1 Samuel chapter 24. And it came to be when Shaul had returned from pursuing the Pelishites that it was reported to him, saying, See, God is in the wilderness of Ayin Geedi. So Shaul took 3,000 chosen men from all Yashrael and went to seek God and his men on the face of Seiri Hayal Eliam. And he came to the sheepfolds on the way, and there was a cave, and Shaul went in to relieve himself. Now Dod and his men were sitting in the sides of the cave. And the men of Dod said to him, See, the day of which Yahu'ah said to you, See, I am giving your enemy into your hand, and you shall do to him as it seems good to you. And Dod arose and gently cut off a corner of Shaul's robe. And after it came to be afterward that the heart of Dod smote him, because he had cut the robe of Shaul. So he said to his men, Far be it from me, by Yahu'ah, that I should do this matter to my master, anointed of Yahu'ah, to stretch out my hand against him, for he is the anointed of Yahu'ah. And Dod dispersed his servants with words, and did not allow them to rise against Shaul. And Shaul rose up from the cave and went on his way. And afterward Dod arose and went out of the cave, and called out to Shaul, saying, My master, the sovereign. And when Shaul looked behind him, Dod bowed with his face to the earth, and did obeisance. And Dod said to Shaul, Why do you listen to the words of men who say, See, Dod seeks to do you evil? See, this day your eyes have seen that Yahu'ah gave you today into my hand in the cave. And one said to slay you, but my eye pardoned you, and I said, I do not stretch out my hand against my master, for he is the anointed of Yahu'ah. And my father, see, even see, the corner of your robe is in my hand. For in that I cut off the corner of your robe, and did not slay you. Know and see that there is neither evil nor rebellion in my hand, and I have not sinned against you, while you were hunting my life to take it. Let Yahu'ah judge between you and me, and let Yahu'ah revenge me on you, but my hand is not against you. As the proverb of the ancients says, wickedness comes from the wicked, but my hand is not against you. After whom has the sovereign of Yashrael come out? Whom do you pursue? A dead dog? A flea? And Yahuwah shall be judge, and rightly rule between you and me, and see and plead my case, and rightly rule me out of your hand. And it came to be, when Dod had ended speaking these words to Shaul, that Shaul said, Is this your voice, my son Dod? So Shaul lifted up his voice and wept. And he said to Dod, You are more righteous than I, for you have rewarded me with good, whereas I have rewarded you with evil. And you have shown today how you have done good to me, for when Yahuwah surrendered me into your hand, you did not slay me. For if a man finds his enemy, shall he let him get away safely? And let Yahuwah reward you with good for what you have done to me today. And now, look, I know that you shall certainly reign, and that the reign of Yashrael shall be established in your hand. And now swear to me by Yahuwah that you do not cut off my seed after me, nor destroy my name from my father's house. And Dod swore to Shaul. Then Shaul went home, and Dod and his men went up to the stronghold. Chapter 25. And Shamuel died, and all Yashrael gathered and mourned for him. and buried him at his home in Ramah. And Dod arose and went down, into the wilderness of Paran. And there was a man in Maon, and his work was in Carmel, and the man was very great. And he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. He came to be shearing his sheep in Carmel. And the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail. And she was a woman of good understanding and good looking. But the man was hard and evil in his doings, and he was of Caleb. And Dod heard in the wilderness that Nabal was shearing his sheep. And Dod sent 10 young men. And Dod said to the young men, "Go up to Carmel, and you shall come to Nabal and greet him in my name. And say this, long life and peace to you, and peace to your house, and peace to all that you have. And now I have heard that you have shears. Now your shepherds have been with us. We did not put them to shame, and not a speck of theirs was missing all the days they were in Carmel. Ask your young men, and let them inform you, so that the young men find favor in your eyes. So we come on good day. Please give whatever comes to your hand to your servants and to your son Dod." And the young men of Dod came and spoke to Nabal according to all these words in the name of Dod, and waited. But Nabal answered the servants of Dod and said, "Who is Dod, and who is the son of Yishai? The servants who are running away from their masters have become many nowadays. And shall I take my bread and my water and my meat that I have slaughtered for my shearers, and give it to men coming from who knows where?" And the young men of Dod returned around on the way and went back, and came and reported to him all the words. And Dod said to his men, "Each one gird on his sword." So they each girded on his sword, and Dod also girded on his sword, and about 400 men went with Dod, and 200 remained with the baggage. And one of the young men informed Abigail, the wife of Nabal, saying, "See, Dod sent messengers from the wilderness to greet our master, but he scoffed at them. But the men were very good to us, and did not put us to shame, nor did we miss anything all the days we accompanied them when we were in the fields. They were a wall to us both by night and by day, and all days we were with tending the sheep. And now, know and see what you should do, for evil has been resolved against our master and against all his household, and he is too much of a son of Belial to speak to." Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 skins of wine, and 5 sheep made ready, 5 sheam of roasted grain, and 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs, and loaded them on donkeys. And she said to her servants, "Pass over before me, so I am coming after you." But she did not inform her husband Nabal. And it came to be, as when she rode on the donkey, that she went down under cover of the hill, and there were Dod and his men coming down toward her, and she met them. And Dod had said, "Only in vain have I protected all that this one has in the wilderness, so that not a speck was missing of all that belongs to him, and he has repaid me evil for good. Let Yahu'ah do so, and more so, to the enemies of Dod, if I leave one male of all who bring to him by morning light." And Abigail saw Dod, and she hastened to come down from the donkey. And she fell on her face before Dodd, and bowed down to the ground, and fell at his feet, and said, On me, my master, let this wickedness be on me, and please let your female servant speak in your ears, and hear the words of your female servant. Please let not my master regard this man of Belial Nabal, for his name is so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, your female servant, did not see the young men of my master whom you sent. And now, my master, as Yahu'ah lives, and as your being lives, since Yahu'ah has withheld you from coming to bloodshed, and from avenging yourself with your own hand, now let your enemies be as Nabal, even those seeking evil against my master. And now this present which your female servant has brought to my master, let it be given to the young men who follow my master. Please bear the transgression of your female servant, for Yahu'ah is certainly making a steadfast house for my master, because my master fights the battles of Yahu'ah, and evil is not found in you in your days. And if a man rises to pursue you and seek your life, and the life of my master has been bound in the bundle of the living with Yahu'ah your Yahu'ah, then the lives of your enemies he shall sling out as from the pocket of a sling. And it shall be, when Yahu'ah has done for my master according to all the good that he has spoken concerning you, and has appointed you ruler over Yashrael. Do not let this be a staggering and stumbling of heart to my master, that you have shed blood without cause, or that my master has saved himself. And when Yahu'ah has done good to my master, then remember your female servant. And Dodd said to Abigail, Baruch be Yahu'ah, Yahu'ah of Yashrael, who sent you to meet me today. And Baruch is your good taste, and Baruch are you. Because you have kept me this day from coming to bloodshed, and from avenging myself with my own hand. Nevertheless, as Yahu'ah, Yahu'ah of Yashrael lives, who has kept me back from doing evil to you, if you had not hurried and come to meet me, not a male would have been left to Nabal to break of day for certain. And Dodd from her hand what she had brought him, and said to her, Go up in peace to your house. See, I have listened to your voice, and have accepted your face. And Abigail went to Nabal, and see, he was at a feast in his house, like the feast of a sovereign. And Nabal's heart was glad within him, and he was exceedingly drunk. So she told him not a word, little or much, until morning light. And it came to be in the morning, when the wine had gone from Nabal, and his wife had told him these matters, that his heart died within him, and he became like a stone. And it came to be in about 10 days that Yahu'ah smote Nabal, and he died. And Dodd heard that Nabal was dead. And he said, Baruch be Yahu'ah, who has pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and has kept his servant from evil. For Yahu'ah has returned the evil of Nabal on his own head. And Dodd sent and spoke to about Abigail to take her as his wife. And when the servants of Dodd had come to Abigail at Carmel, they spoke to her, saying, Dodd sent us to you to ask you to become his wife. And she arose, bowed her face to the earth, and said, Here is your female servant, a servant to wash the feet of the servants of my master. And Abigail hurried and rose, and rode a donkey with 5 of her female servants, and she followed the messengers of Dodd. And she became his wife. Dodd had also taken Ahinoam of Israel, and so both of them were his wives. But Shaul had given Michal his daughter, Dodd's wife, to Patay, son of Laish, who was from Galiam.